everybody, here is your warm-up. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and take a look at number 1. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in for you so you can see it better. All right, answer this question right now. Okay, so now that you've had a chance to work on it, it is a little bit hard to see. This is a -8, by the way, and a -9, so double check your answer right quick. Okay, so 16 divided by 6. Remember that this can be simplified. That is too thick. Hold on a second. This can be simplified because a 2 can go into both of the numbers. So a 2 can go into 16 8 times, 2 can go into 6 3 times, and then whenever it comes to the exponents, all we have to do is subtract them because this is division of exponents. And so let me rewrite my answer. I know I'm going to have an 8 on the top, a 3 on the bottom. Okay. 5 minus 4 is just 1, so x to the first power. And then since there's no number right here next to the y, remember there's an invisible 1 there. 7 minus 1 is y to the 6th. All right, and then we've got z to the -8 minus -9. So -8 minus -9. Those turn into pluses. -8 plus 9 is just z. So let's take a look at our answer choices here. I see that answer A is going to be my correct choice. So go ahead and take a minute to do number 2. If it helps you, please, please, please draw a rectangle, all right? So it tells you the width and it tells you the height, x squared, y squared, and the width is 2xy. Go ahead and give this a try. All right, now that you have had a chance to work on this, remember if we want to take the area of a rectangle, that we want to do length times width or width times height. So area is going to be width times height, all right, and our width is 2xy. And then we're multiplying that by our height of x squared, y squared. So when we're doing this, we always combine the numbers. I just see a 2 here, so I'm going to bring the 2 down. X to the first power, since there's nothing there. 1 plus 2 is 3. All right, if there's nothing next to the y, 1 plus 2 is 3 again. Remember from the law of exponents, if we are multiplying exponents, we are really adding them. So my answer is going to be H. All right, let's take a look at number 3. All right, now number 3, it says, which expression represents the correct value of 7a squared b squared divided by 2a? We have to set this up. So 7a squared b squared over 2a. All right, go ahead and give this a try. So now that you've had a minute, 7 divided by 2, I can't really simplify that, so that's just going to stay as it is. But I can simplify the a's. I've got a 2 here, an invisible 1 here. 2 minus 1 is just 1, so I'm just going to put a. And there's no other b's, so it just comes along for the ride. And so my answer looks like it's going to be C. My next warm-up problem says if x is 64 and y is equal to 20, what is the value of the expression below? So plug in x equals 64 for x and plug in 20 for y. Go ahead and try this. So now that you've had a minute to try and solve this, 64 to the 1/2 power plus 20 to the 1/2 power. It's been a long time, but remember, if we have a 1/2 power, what that means is you are taking the square root, the normal little square root. So it looks like this. Now there's different roots. That's why I'm putting the 2 here. You could do a cube root with a 3 or a 4, but it's only the second root. So I'll just do, the square root symbol. All right, square root of 20. All right, now square root of 64, it could be plus or minus 8, but it doesn't look like we have any different solutions here. So it's just going to be 8 plus the square root of 20. We can simplify this radical, but it doesn't look like it wants us to, so it's just H. So here is your first problem. Which function is equivalent to g of x equals x squared plus 15x minus 54? My piece of advice to you would be graph it. Go ahead and do that. Graph it. graph it and look for the x-intercepts. All right, here's problem number 2. The graph of the quadratic parent function is transformed to create the graph f of x plus 2 minus 5. So remember our parent function, oh, that's too thin, hold on. The graph of our parent function is just x squared, all right? So when it says plus 2, that's some kind of shift. And then when I have a minus 5, that is some kind of shift. So let me zoom out and remember, remember that f of x equals x squared. It just looks like this. It's got a vertex on the 0, 0, the intersection of the x and y intercepts. And it looks like that. So it's saying, which one shows these two shifts? Go ahead and answer this. For number 3, it says, what is the positive solution to this? Again, you will have to get it in standard form first. So you have to minus the 135 on both sides. All right, when you do that, you get 4x squared plus 12x minus 135 equals 0. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to graph this, and then which one is the positive solution? Go ahead and find the positive solution. All right, number 4. Let me zoom out a bit. This is the same one that you had on your sim test. So my advice to you is to graph each and every one of these. All right, graph them all. And once you've graphed them all, so you know how on Desmos calculator you can put multiple graphs on one. So let's pull it up really quick. Desmos graphing calculator. And let's see, negative point, let's see, y equals negative 0.002 t squared plus 0.55 t plus 5.02. All right, so if I zoom out, oops, I did something wrong. This is supposed to be a 0.00. Yeah, that looks right. All right, so I'll zoom out. That's kind of this parabola that has a line in it, like you just saw. So what you're going to do is you're going to graph all your answer choices A, B, C, and D, and then you're going to compare the points. Now, we have a point 5, 3, we have a point 10, 10, we have a point 15, 17, and so on. I want you to graph them on Desmos, and then I want you to make sure that, you know, the graph contains the points. If I look at this one, 5, 3, I would have to zoom way in and go up to 5 and see if it has a 3. So that would be my first point. 5, 3, well, no, this graph does not have it, so obviously the answer choice is not A. So go ahead and graph all 4 of these and figure out which graph contains these points on it. Okay, so now that you've had a minute to do that, I want you to figure out which graph represents this. All you have to do is plug it into Desmos graphing calculator and find the one that matches. All right, problem number 6, it says which one is equivalent? Again, you're going to have to graph this, and so what you would do is you would graph it and set it equal to 0. All right, so you'll do all this equals 0, and it's one of those ones that has fractions as the x-intercepts. Go ahead and give it a shot. Okay, number 7, there are 10 of these, by the way. The graph of f of x equals x squared, which is our parent function, is transformed to f of x minus 9. Pick which shift you think this is happening. Is it going left or right? Is it a vertical shift? Is it reflecting? What does that mean? All right, number 8, which value of x is a solution to this equation? Again, you are going to graph it. Graph these, all right? Everything we are doing today is parabolas or quadratic functions. Just graph this and figure out which of these is an x-intercept. Number 9, which function is equivalent to this? There's a couple ways we could do this, but basically you need to expand this out. And so remember, if you want to do x plus 2 squared, that is when that box method came in handy, x plus 2, because we were multiplying polynomials. If the box method helps you, you can totally do that. All right, so you would do x times x, that's x squared, 2 times x, that is 2x, 2 times x, that is 2x, 2 times 2 is 4. So this middle part right here is going to be, let me write this, 3 on the outside, x squared, 2x plus 2x, that is 4x, plus 4, in parentheses, plus 7. All right, go ahead and figure out which one matches this. Okay, number 10, this is our last one. You have to do the same kind of thing. Oh no, actually this is one of the ones that you would graph. So you would say 9x squared minus 24x plus 16 equals 0. Find your x-intercepts. Looks like it might be a fraction again, and the way I can tell is because it's got 2 numbers in here as opposed to just 1. So go ahead and graph this, and then once you graph it, remember I also included that decimal to fraction chart as well. If that helps you, great, use it. Figure out which is the answer.